Today I have the privilege of conversing with Howard Engel, and I have to admit, when I start out, I really have to admit that these interviews are based on what may be a fallacy. And that possible fallacy is that if I look close enough at somebody's books, the works of any artist, and I just look at the things that make me say, and oh, that I can somehow build up a portrait of the artist. It doesn't work for you. It doesn't work for Howard Engel. So really what that means is that I'm pretty much going to be winging this interview. I really have no idea who I'm talking to, but I do know some facts about you, Howard Engel. Howard Engel is the author of 16 novels, including 13 novels of the Benny Cooperman series. Benny Cooperman being the archetypal Canadian private investigator. Philip Marlowe meets Woody Allen. He's the author of 3 books of nonfiction. He is the recipient of the Derrick Murdoch Award, the Matt Cohen Award, the Arthur Ellis Award for crime fiction, and he has also been invested with the Order of Canada. And I can also venture an opinion, which is that my opinion is that Howard Engel is one of the most singularly important novelists of the 1980s and 90s in Canada, in that he presented to the world a uniquely Canadian protagonist in a uniquely Canadian setting before the world really cared about Canada, and sold those books internationally and opened up the eyes of the world just a bit, and paved the way for people who followed him, like Linwood Barclay and Andrew Piper. And how did that sound, Howard? Is that pretty much about right?
Well,
I do okay? Thank you for dropping in. Thank you for dropping in. Debuted as a novelist. I think it was your debut in 1980 with The Suicide Murders, your first Benny Cooperman. Where did he come from? Did he appear fully dressed, spouting cool things, or was he assembled? Did he kind of nag at you for a while? Did you see him on the street? Where did Benny Cooperman come
Benny
from?
Cooperman, he had 2 origins. One, he's not based on anybody I know or ever knew. I decided I wanted to write a detective who wasn't like any of the other detectives. He wasn't like Philip Marlowe, who drank. He wasn't like Sam Spade, who was fast with a gun and his fists. He was going to be just exactly the opposite. Someone who was sick at the sight of blood, someone who took the cases that they would leave. He was, as I remember the phrase, he was the bottom of the birdcage of the detective business. But that was a kind of mechanical mixture. He was a lot of opposites of things that had existed. But when I started to write him, he suddenly spoke with his own voice. And I hadn't any, there were no rehearsals, no dead runs. No,
you're right.
He arrived fully formed from the head of Dr. Seuss.
What do you think of Canada today? You've been around for a while. How does Canada today? Have you seen a progression? Have you seen a change in the nature of our country?
Well, I think we're. Once we get all the libraries closed.
No, the libraries.
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 And we have, and everybody recognizes Margaret Atwood when they see her. The times are tough in Toronto these days, and economically around the world. So we're on the cusp of interesting times, and isn't that what some pundit said? You're cursed to live in interesting times.
But fortunately, rather less interesting in Canada than elsewhere.
I don't know.
Sometimes we can't see the drama underneath our nose.
Well, we're not good at seeing ourselves. We don't have heroes the way the Americans have them. We don't make of our frontier people icons. The Americans have Abraham Lincoln and George Washington and Davy Crockett, and they have a talent for publicity, whereas, but also too, they have a bit of an inferiority complex, because when somebody like Glenn Gould or comes along, and this is true of Marshall McLuhan, newspapers and magazines, even the New Yorker, tend to forget that they were Canadian. So that it's rather interesting when the press feels they have to protect the populace from the truth. I don't know that people bother up here.
Well, those Canadians
say it the way it is.
They're insidious, those Canadians. They're going to take one more question.
This is the one you warned me.
Okay, we'll edit that part out. Okay, we'll just edit that out. Howard, we've been talking about your past, your present, your future. I really mean it when I said that I really think you're one of the singularly important writers that emerged in the 80s, because you really did open up the eyes of the world to Canadian fiction. And I think you've served an invaluable purpose, and Canada should thank you, as it has, rightly. Franz Kafka once said that a writer's favorite dream, a writer's desire, is to narrate his own funeral. W.C. Fields, one of the smartest men that Victorian England ever produced, thought he had a solution to that issue. W.C. Fields proposed that his headstone epitaph should read, "All things considered, I'd rather be in Philadelphia." What would you like your epitaph to read?
Never indicted.
He's a proud Canadian, an artist, an author, and he's never been indicted. Howard Engel. Thank you all for coming out.